Good afternoon, Asheville. This is What's Up Asheville at WRES Radio 100.7 FM, a radio show discussing projects and initiatives of the city of Asheville. This is your host, Ricardo Basurto, Communication and Public Engagement Specialist at the City of Asheville. Today, we are accompanied by Greg Shuler, Director of the Public Works Department at the city. Hi, Greg. Great to have you here.
Hi, Ricardo. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And here we are as like our new joining to the team is Sofia, also for the public departments. Well, great to have you here, Sofia. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, can you introduce yourself and really tell us like what you do at the city, please?
Sure. Greg Shuler, Public Works Director, and been with the city for 14 years. Been the director for about 9 years, I believe.
Okay.
And a lot of what I do is give overall guidance to our 160 plus staff of line level employees. We have cover a lot of things. I'm happy to go over the different divisions that we have within the department and the services we provide.
Oh, that's great.
I'm the Special Projects Coordinator for the Public Works Department and the Admin Department. I just started a couple weeks ago, and it's been great.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the team. Certainly it will be amazing. Today, I think we would like to talk a little bit about something specific, which is the National Public Works Week. It's going to be a national celebration from May 15 to May 21. And before we go to the National Public Weeks, I think we have to go let's start with the basics. What does the Public Works Department do here in Asheville?
Thanks, Ricardo. Excuse me. So, Public Works here in the city does probably what a lot of people think we do. We pick up trash. We handle recycling and brush. We also take care of our roads, bridges, sidewalks, our trees, and cleanliness. Cleanliness is a big thing for the city and always has been, but it's really getting a lot of press right now. But we also take care of our stormwater infrastructure and plan review. We do a lot of design for capital projects. We also take care of all of the fleet for the city. That includes fire trucks, police cruisers, trash trucks, lawnmowers, you name it. Everything that really runs on fuel or will soon be running on solar. And we hope we get more into the EV world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's an exciting part of what we got in the future. We also have a lot of data that manages how we do the work that we do and measures our success. And then, as Sofia said, we have our admin division who provides general direction, communication with the community,
of course,
city manager's office, and council.
That sounds like a lot. I understand that we have the three major divisions, which is sanitation, stormwater, street and fleet services. But each one of those also have a lot of specific activities. So it's a big department, certainly.
It really is a big department. We do a lot of things that our community depends on, and really, if we're doing our job well, most folks don't recognize it. But when we do mess up, and we do, there's a lot of opportunity to get things wrong. But most of the time, we're on top of it, and we have unbelievable employees who do the hard work that makes a city run every day.
Absolutely. Something that I have heard talking with colleagues and stuff is this sort of internal joke that your job usually goes unseen, or our best job is buried. It goes underneath. So what's kind of this means? Many of the jobs that we do are really unseen, or we don't pay attention to them, or
Yeah, that's especially true, Ricardo, in our stormwater division. There's so much work that goes on that truly does get buried. We get to work with the other utilities that make society and life as comfortable as it is, whether that be water, sewer, electricity, gas. A lot of those, especially in the urban setting, are underground, and stormwater depends on gravity flow. So we have to be where we have to be. Other things are like electricity. It doesn't matter.
You
about
can
gravity.
Put it in and out. Yeah.
So we get to weave through those things as we're working certainly in the downtown area in any urban setting.
Certainly. I mean, I'm thinking just these famous Roman aqueducts will go for kilometers and kilometers going straight with a little bit of slide to make sure here well, we have to deal with the same, but in a city with goes a lot ups and downs, and make sure like everyone in the house has the water functioning, right? So it certainly sounds complex.
It is. We have talented engineers and technicians and equipment operators who do this work every day, and I want our community to know that they're very fortunate to be taken care of by such really amazing staff.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure like a huge challenge to some degree, it will be like how to deal with, because those topics require, well, you have to go through the street and make sure like the street still have circulation, like cars can go by, that the sidewalks are accessible so people can still walk in to their place while you're doing reparations. And at the same time you have to work with NCDOT or energy department. Like it's a lot going on to do something as simple as water, right?
That's correct. And it's funny you bring that up, Ricardo. Just yesterday, we have what we call our infrastructure task force team, and we meet with all the utility owners, various city departments, whether it be our water, our capital, certainly a lot of the folks that I mentioned in the Public Works Department, as well as NCDOT, to try and really mesh our projects together, whether that be schedule or, hey, we're going to be working here, water department, if you got anything that you need to upgrade, because the last thing we want to do is pave a road and then have someone come in there for a planned repair for gas or sewer. We want to communicate with those folks to get it right the first time and minimize cost for the project, but just as important as disruption for the community.
I would imagine that there's this overlap then in between like the master plan for the city, which is more long term, but to make sure like that master plan is aligned with the current council city priorities, and at the same time with the projects from the state, state government and the federal government as well, right?
That's correct. A lot of people don't get that because, yes, the city of Asheville has a really robust capital program, but so do all the other utility owners and, excuse me, of course, DOT. And if the schedules are off just a bit, we try our best to say, okay, DOT, we see you're going to be working here in 2 years. Ours are going to be about 4 years out. So we try to meet somewhere in the middle so we can partner financially and really as much as anything operationally.
Makes sense. You mentioned like the importance of budgets on it, like reviewing the budget. It's clear like well, this department is one of the just behind like fire and police, obviously, and in terms of like how many employees are working within the department, I think understand is the fourth largest, right? Just behind water as well.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
That's a lot to manage.
It is a lot to manage. We have division managers, and really just again can't stress enough what incredible staff we have. Staffing is no different for us than it is anybody right now. We're having a hard time retaining folks and recruiting folks, and so we want to make sure that we're treating our employees as good as we can. And it's not all about money. Money's important, but being flexible as far as schedules when we can, and providing professional development. It is really important to have a really robust and knowledgeable staff to do what we're expected to do. And we want to make sure that our taxpayers feel like they're getting the most for their money.
Of course. That's something that we were talking with some colleagues, and we found out like many of the people who live in Asheville, they know the person who goes like every other day to pick up the trash. They know the people who is like in charge of make sure like the trees are not like super huge branches, stuff like that. So there's a lot of involvement within the community, and it's only possible to employees who are like personable and capable at the same time. So it's easy sometimes to get lost in the technical aspect of your job, but we try to do a good job with selecting staff and then training the staff that we have to say, this is our community, and our residents, our visitors really count on what we do. They don't have any other option to repair their sidewalk or to make sure that their property's not flooding. So we want to make sure that service is there. And
and really at the highest level. That's whether it's the craftsmanship of our employees who are pouring sidewalk or fixing a radiator on one of our trash trucks. Craftsmanship and pride in our work is really what we try to really drill in with our employees.
That's great, and I will just like take that mention that you were saying about like how we can get involved, and if there's any situation that is happening, please remember that you can report an issue through the Asheville app, or you can call 828-251-1122. That's 828-251-1122. So you can report like any issue that is affecting you, your household, your neighborhood, and someone in the city of Asheville, most likely your department will be there to try to fix it, right?
That's correct. For example, our sanitation employees are on every single street that we have in our network of over 400 miles.
Wow.
Every single day or every single week. We're on every one of those roads. So we have a lot of eyes out there. We have a lot of other staff who are out performing their work, whether that's trimming a tree, planting a tree, installing pipe, or replacing an ADA accessible ramp for our handicapped visitors and residents.
Making sure we're inclusive and making sure we're having like people around. There's a lot of things going on with the department, and it's clear that there's a lot of activities. What will be like something that you would like the people to know when they say like, oh, public works? What would you like the people to know about it?
I guess the first thing that I thank you for asking that question. That's one of the first things that I would want people to know is that our employees really care about what we do and the people that we serve. Mm-hmm. It's for the vast majority of our employees, this is their career. This is what we went to school for. This is what we have trained for.
Cool.
And yes, we take a lot of pride and we put a lot of craftsmanship in the work we do, but really it's some of the terms that I've heard our employees use is any project that we're working on, and we're in front of you. We're usually right in the middle of neighborhoods or urban districts. Is treat that like you would if you were working in front of your grandmother's house. That's really approach that a lot of our staff takes is to take a lot of pride in their work. And some of the work we do, a lot of the work we do is very messy. It's noisy and dusty and muddy because we're digging and excavating. So we recognize that is a disruption for people's daily lives. But hopefully it is an investment that when we finish with our work, hopefully we don't have to go back there to do that type of work anymore. And it's something that is sustainable. And, the infrastructure that we put in and that we maintain is meant to be durable. And it's messy and disruptive when we do it, but if we're doing it right, we hopefully won't have to come back for a while.
I hear you. I was wondering, like, years ago I get the chance to, I was voluntarily by my mother to fix my mother's like old bathroom. And it was like 3-4 days of like working on clothing and cleaning and stuff. My grandma hated like every single day that I was like there making sure like it was like proper, but in the end she was like, okay, that's fine. So I can totally understand. We sometimes we might don't like the process, but it is important to understand that it's valuable and a necessary job, right?
Most definitely. And another thing I would like for our residents and taxpayers to know is that we take it very seriously that we're spending taxpayer dollars. We try to be as efficient as we can, and but quite honestly, the work that we do is just really expensive. It's a lot of times specialized equipment. Some of it we're dealing with contractors, and inflation is about 8.5% right now, and that is really taking a toll on our ability to purchase the materials that we need, the equipment, and quite honestly, labor is really an expensive piece of everything that we do, whether it's done in-house or external. A couple of other things I'd love for our listeners to know about is that even though we have people on call and available 24/7, we always have and we always will, most of the employees in Public Works don't work on Friday.
Oh, cool.
And while that's an incentive to recruit, the real reason we do it is to improve our carbon footprint. A lot of folks going back and forth to work and heating and cooling the buildings. So that is a step that our department feels very strongly about to contribute to reaching the goals that council has set for us as far as emissions and our organization's carbon footprint.
That's great to know. Absolutely, it's putting your money where your worth is. Absolutely, that's a necessity. And well, it's always fascinating to hear about like our colleagues and all the job that they do. I would like to then like jump after this like kind of short-ish preamble to the 62 annual National Public Works Week. This like 2022 week. Okay, ready and resilient. That's their motto. What is this Public Works Week about? Why it is important for us as a nation and here in Asheville as well?
Again, I appreciate you asking that and bringing that up. We're very proud to again be participants in National Public Works Week. This is an international event that we're happy to. The way we're going to do it this year is we're going to have a celebration and invite other city employees to come and take a look at some of the cool equipment that we have and meet some of our team. But for example, last night at City Council meeting, there was a proclamation honoring and recognizing Public Works Week here in the city of Asheville, and it was as proud as ever to introduce to the council members and to the viewing public some of our best and very brightest. Sofia was there, and all of our divisions were represented last night, and
cool.
It was we were really honored that the mayor and council members saw fit to take the time and really acknowledge the really hardworking men and women who get these really tough jobs done every day and every night. We have a night shift that works every night, so we have a presence in the city 24/7.
Absolutely, because when we have talked with other departments, like fire department, for instance, there's like, you always will see fire department when they go like, woo, on the street, or there's a fire, or there's an emergency, you will see them. But when there's an emergency, they still have to be working and training and prepping for it. So I assume it's the same here. You have to be doing like the daily job, while at the same time be ready if there's like any emergency, any unexpected situation. You have to be ready to jump and to help the people in distress, right?
That's correct. And to your point, for this year's theme for American Public Works Week, Ready and Resilient, that is that's really our mantra. We are the people, along with some of our other departments, to be there when there's a flood, when there's a snow event, when there's any sort of catastrophe. Our staff is they are ready and they are resilient. We're trained to do this. We have the equipment, and whether it's a flood or an ice event, either one, we're typically one of the first ones there and some of the last to leave.
Absolutely. When we think about like first responders, we think like health, police, fire, and they are undoubtedly heroes in their own right, of course. But it's undoubtedly the people who goes and make sure like everything's clean and try to help and try to address these structural causes what provokes something. They're also heroes, and many of those are people within the public works department for sure.
That's correct, and we rely heavily on the men and women in our police and our fire department, but also with our water department. It is a really tight group. This organization, and Public Works is just one piece of the puzzle, but when it's a snow event, when it is even a downtown festival, Public Works is involved with that, with barricades, with cleanup, and with the planning of it. Juneteenth coming up, that's going to be a big one for us, and we're excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, of course, because sometimes we say like, oh yeah, the celebration, it's great, but yeah, all the planning, like what are we going to do with traffic? We're going to make sure like there's no accident because there's like different level on one stair or something. So there's a lot of like things going on. Like we, as we were saying earlier, we sometimes we don't see it, but it's there. And it's undoubtedly valuable and really important.
Yeah, our employees, we feel like we know that we are part of the public safety arena here in the city, and really in any municipality. Public works professionals are certainly first responders.
Well, excellent. I think like something that the pandemic left us is like, the sense like, yeah, it's like first responders and well, people who has been like front line, like the nurses, of course, but like people who is like taking meals on DoorDash and Uber and these sort of apps. Well, they certainly were there making sure that people could do it. So and at the same time, public works, they deserve that recognition. So you were saying that we're going to celebrate like this week. Can you mention a little bit like how are we going to celebrate? What are we planning for our colleagues?
Thank you for asking that as well, Ricardo, because we work hard, but we play hard too.
Yes, glad to hear that.
It is a party type atmosphere. We will have a DJ, a local DJ. He's actually a retired public works employee, and
cool.
He's definitely got the gift for being a DJ, and he's come to a lot of our events. This is the first time we've been able to do this in the last 2 years, and we're just so happy to be able to get together with our staff and welcome others to come down and take a look. But some of the other things we'll be looking at is allowing some of our city employees to try to drive a dump truck, to try to drive an excavator, or maybe it's a knuckle boom, but it's one of the large pieces of equipment that we use to load brush when it's too much to do manually.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's obviously, just like anything that we do, safety is number one priority, and we will have trained staff there to assist. But I've tried to do all of these things before. I'm a horrible operator, and I'm so thankful that we have really professional drivers and operators and the men and women who do that. Sofia got a chance to visit with some of our staff and see firsthand that, hey, these folks, yes, they may appear to be dirty or greasy or whatever, but you won't find a better trained and more dedicated staff than what we have to do the dirty work that it takes to get the city. Which
is the thing. Sometimes we try to overlook or don't really think about like what is required to do certain jobs, but there's a lot of like specialization and training required to be able to perform some of these tasks. So yeah, I hear you as well. It's like I could read about it and just like get an idea of it, but it's like I couldn't even drive a U-Haul unit, I think.
Yeah, for example, what most people see their residential trash collected with is an auto loader truck, has the claw on the side, and their employees who are doing that pick up about 1,200 carts per day, and some of the places they have to go to with on-street parking and just tight roads because of our terrain is really challenging, and they don't have a choice but to get that job done every day, because if your trash is set to be collected on Thursday, it needs to be picked up Thursday. And when we have a lot of those are extremely sophisticated vehicles. They're about $380,000 a piece, and we have 9 of them.
Whoa.
And but
they're big.
They are big, and some of them are, powered by compressed natural gas to try to reduce emissions. But cool. It is all really interesting how it all plays together. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our underserved communities and make them not underserved anymore. We want to make sure that we're distributing our resources and our services equitably, but also sustainably. And as important as that is, on time. We need to get it done.
Absolutely, because people will plan their week ahead of that. They will have to schedule like, okay, I have to take out the trash this day because they're coming next day, as certain as I am, like many other things. And it's important to have that, like that confidence that the things are going to be done as you were planning that. So
yeah, it's we realize that what we do impacts people's lives, and if we don't do a good job of it, it's impacting them in a negative way, and that's not a good thing. We want to shoot for positive outcomes and treating our employees right, and if you do that, you got a much better shot of making sure the community is served well.
Absolutely. And talking about the community, well, in my department at least, which is communications and public engagement, we are mostly focused on like how we communicate, how we engage. But from the in the public works department, how do we engage with the community? What are ways that citizens can participate in alongside with the activities or projects that the department has?
Thank you, because that is really an important part of anything we do, is getting public buy-in, and really we get some of our best ideas when we're having some community input opportunities. Just today, Sofia and I were talking with one of our staff members, a division manager, and she said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go into a school and talk to some third graders."
Oh, cool.
So that's one way we engage, but as far as engagement from the community to us, AVL is really an important piece of that. Our Asheville app is a great way for people to communicate with us. On our capital side, where we build a large, some of our largest construction projects, we have those typically have their own web page, but we also have community meetings, and we want to do community meetings so that it makes sense to folks. So it's not just convenient for us, but whether that's providing daycare, translators, doing it at different times of the day, or as we've learned a lot through the pandemic, virtually.
Certainly.
So we, for any of our larger projects, we're reaching out to get community impact, and not only to inform, hey, this is getting ready to happen, but also a project that we had recently on Martin Luther King Boulevard, Martin Luther King Jr.'s Boulevard. That was one that some of the best ideas we got out of that was directly from community meetings. We had a team of engineers working on it, but we missed stuff because we don't live there. So
yeah,
that
of
was
course.
an awesome project that the community and our department are very proud of.
Awesome. And well, you mentioned that you have been in the city for few years now.
Yeah.
I'm curious because we have seen how the app is fairly new that has been developed. We have improved the AVL alert, and well, with the pandemic, certainly we have to go virtual and had public input, and we have seen many changes over time in the ways we engage with the public. Have you noticed these changes besides the technological aspects, like how we engage, how we interact with the community, how they come to us or we go to them? Yeah,
since really like email and things like that those have always been around, but I think one of the biggest things for us has been the AVL, as well as the Asheville app. Thank you. I can't believe I forgot that one.
Happens.
Those have been very very helpful, and it allows people to, when they're walking to go get lunch and they see something, they can take a picture of it and send it to the right person right away. So that's hopefully helpful to the public, and it's certainly helpful to us to know what's going on out there. What do we need to focus some resources on?
That's great. Yeah, what we want to do is have the engagement with the public. Sometimes you can see oh, I'm complaining on Facebook or Twitter, and that might be cathartic. And we all been there, we all done that. But using the Asheville app, that's certainly a more direct way to get in contact with us, right? Register for the activities we have on public input, because we are informing of the projects and meetings. So that's for sure. So please don't forget, there's a lot of ways you can engage, and we are more than willing. We're eager to hear from the community, because that's how we work. We rely on you. Yeah, we're public servants, and we don't pretend to have all the right answers. So we need the input from the public, so we know what success looks like. And success from an engineering point of view may or may not be what a community leader would like to see. So somewhere in the middle is where we need to be. Absolutely, that's the great way. But well, thank you. That's such strong and powerful words. And well, I would like to thank you both, Greg and Alejandro, for being here. We certainly have addressed a lot of things regarding the Public Work Week will be starting May 15, and well, that's our time for today. So thank you very much. Please stay tuned. We'll be back to talk about like another City of Asheville projects, and we'll be stay here on WRES 100.7 FM. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Take care, Asheville.